gentlemen, welcome to Barber Motorsports Park. We're here for the Road to Indy component of this weekend's NTT IndyCar Series race. Of course, as you know, USF Juniors getting fired up on Thursday and Friday. Fantastic racing for those young drivers in the development program leading into USF 2000. But it's time to go racing right now. We've got Indy Pro 2000, we've got USF 2000. One race of each of their double headers will happen here today. My name is Rob Howden, the voice of the Road to Indy, joined today by the guy who will be rolling off pole at USF 2000 later today, Miles Rowe from Pabst Racing. Miles, let's bring you in here. Big win for you, of course, in St. Petersburg, right? That's what you needed to start this season. But you rolled right in here to Barber and put it on the pole. Is this a track that you love driving on? What is it about this place?
Yeah, this track, it for some reason it feels like home to me. I mean, I do have a lot of family that are close by, so it's cool to be like, you know, feel natural at a track, you know, with family close. But there's a lot of like elevation here at Barber, and I think that, you know, plays to my advantage. I think I adapt well to tracks like that. But yeah, I mainly have a blast here. It's just so fun to run around.
You know, it's been a couple of months since we last raced. It was back at St. Petersburg. You won last year at New Jersey in the rain. Were able to get that big victory. But when you come back and get that second one, right, it's kind of like adding that little bit extra, right? I won that one last year in the rain. I got it done in the dry, which I think is always key. An instant in the opening round. You come back the next day and able to drop the hammer. How much better did you feel this last couple of months preparing coming into Barber, having that win in your pocket?
Oh gosh, I mean, like, I really felt, you know, the experience actually pay off, especially like even in St. Pete, I still felt a little uncomfortable, you know, first race of the season. But once we got to the test in Barber, I mean, the experience, you know, I could feel it. I actually felt comfortable in the car and actually felt like, you know, I'm supposed to be here and I'm an athlete and a race car driver. I felt like true and like I'm here and could be long term, and that's just made me, you know, be able to extract so much more speed out of the car for sure. You
know, one of the things is it's I hate to say it, but you're in a weird situation compared to a lot of the other drivers, right? They come in knowing they have the full season budget. I've got the money to run the season. Last year with Force Indy, you knew you had to be able to do that. You had the budget to get that first year in, right? That first feeling of what it's like to race. This year, maybe not so much. Smaller budget. This could be your last race. You've said this publicly, that you don't have the budget to go after this. How much more pressure does that put on you this weekend, or is it just, I'm going to go out there and show everybody what I'm made of?
Yeah, you know, you could focus on the pressure and all of the negatives and of like stress and anxiety and things like that, but I'm very positive thinking, or at least I like to think so. And I just like to focus on, you know, the task ahead, what I have to do going forward. And, you know, that's simply get in the car, you know, be prepped and, you know, hit my marks. And that's all that there is to it. You know, keep a level head. And you know, I know what to do out there, and it's just about going out there and executing. So the pressure's there, but you know, as long as your head's level and you know you have good confidence and confidence in your skill especially, everything will be fine and it'll work out, you know, how the way it's supposed to work out.
I like that view. That's kind of the way I look at life as well. And obviously you have good people behind you, Penske Entertainment's behind you. But you said it right there. You kind of proven what you've been able to do, right? That's what you come here to do. Prove what you're able to do. Hopefully find some people that will get behind you and move you forward. But to have that confidence after that first win, that's probably what gives you maybe more of a sense of relaxation coming into this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely good to have that win under your belt, for sure. But every race is different, and with or without a win, you know, you're always going to drive your hardest. You're always going to prep to your max.
Yeah.
At least I am. I try to be the best I can be on and off the track to make sure, you know, I can achieve everything that I think I can. And so it's just about going out there and doing your best. That's all. And then you can come off the track, you know, knowing that you did your best no matter what happened.
That's it. And listen, we know what you're like. You're the guy that goes for the gap. If it's there, you're going for it.
Yeah.
What kind of a Miles Rowe are we going to see when the green flag flies?
You're going to see a very, you know, calm and comfortable, you know, attitude out there. It's going to be, you know, I'll be quick. I hope so at least. But, you know, I'll be reserved and very strategic. I like to think that I'm strategic in how I move. Obviously, you know, you make wrong moves sometimes. But I think I'll be very strategic and play all the, at least more correct moves than bad ones.
There you go.
Know?
Well, you learn. That's right. Let's jump into the race we're talking about right now. Indy Pro 2000 drivers getting set to go. Reese Gold is going to start on the front row. Juncos Racing Hollinger has been unbelievably good here out of the gate. Both Anam Ahmed and Reese Gold have been fast. But Colin Kaminsky for Pabst Racing, great to have him back here this year in a full-time program. He qualifies on the outside of the front row. We've got you here. He's your teammate. Have you been in any of the debriefs? How comfortable is Colin right now? Good speed out of the gate.
Yeah, Colin, he's comfortable right now, and he's really good. He's expecting, you know, to be up there and hopefully finish on the podium. I think he can. So it all depends on his start and how others race him. But Colin's a very good, clean racer, and he's very strategic too in his thinking, and he makes a lot of good moves, and he's very experienced. So I believe he could really secure a podium
He's
today.
another guy like you, though, too. He's pretty relaxed. I never see him, the stress get too much to Colin, right? He's kind of more of a relaxed kind of guy.
Yeah.
That's going to play well, I think, starting on the front row.
Definitely, yeah. Colin, you know, he's really funny, relaxed, and he's a chill person. So I think that'll play to his advantage here today, especially with the intensity of like the elevation and just, you know, wanting to make up positions, but it being so hard here at this track. I think it's going to help him, you know, stay patient and really apply the correct moves when you know they're applicable.
Indeed, yeah, a tough racetrack, as Miles said. 2.39 miles in distance, 17 corners, undulation, elevation changes. So much to do here at this racetrack. Again, Reese Gold on the front row alongside Colin Kaminsky. Row number 2 will be Anam Ahmed, the Juncos Hollinger Racing teammate, right behind Reese Gold. And then one of the winners from last year, Braden East for Jay Howard Driver Development, is going to start on the outside of row number 2. Of course, I'll head down to pit lane for the full field introductions here momentarily. We'll have, of course, our command to fire engines as well. But this is the start of what should be a fantastic weekend of racing. Doubleheader for both Indy Pro 2000 and USF 2000. Miles will be back on track for USF 2000 later on. As I said, an unbelievably tough racetrack here at Barber Motorsports Park. Let's have a look at this fantastic facility in Alabama. It's been 2 months since the drivers of the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires have gone wheel to wheel against each other, stretching back to the streets of St. Petersburg in late February. The skilled racers are all chomping at the bit to get back at it, and they'll get their chance today at one of the most challenging circuits on the schedule, Barber Motorsports Park. A 2.5-mile ribbon of asphalt features incredible elevation changes and confidence testing high commitment corners. And that's likely why so many drivers call it their favorite. The 17-turn track is extremely technical, with a limited number of overtaking areas, so drivers must be very precise in every corner. The Turn 1-2 complex is daunting, as it features a downhill braking zone leading into a tough uphill climb into a right-hander that keeps drivers on their toes. The plunge down out of Turn 3 through the Alabama roller coaster and back up to Turn 4 leads down to one of the best passing zones on the racetrack, the Turn 5 hairpin, Charlotte's Web. A mistake here opens the door for challenges at the end of the short chute that leads into the downhill Turn 7-8 complex, which leads onto the long and lightning fast back straight. It's this backstretch that can often separate the field, as drivers must fully commit to their lines and entry speed through a pair of quick left-right chicanes. You need to have the confidence in your car setup and the trust in the aero downforce in both Tatis USF 2000 and Indy Pro 2000 cars to get it exactly right. And with that said, it's time to get this weekend underway as the quest for a life-changing Road to Indy scholarship continues.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper and Duramaxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
For the first of what will be 4 Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires races here on the weekend. USF 2000 drivers a little bit later on today, but Indy Pro 2000 getting set to go. Let's have a look at the grid of the 19 drivers who are lined up and ready to go. Let's have a look at the grid of the drivers getting ready to rock here in the Indy Pro 2000 category. Starting at the tail of the field in the number 50 machine, Charles Finelli. In the number 83, starting 15th, Charles Finelli on the end of the field. We'll move to row number 7 now on the outside for Jay Howard Driver Development. In the number 5, it's Wyatt Prokachik, second-year driver. Prokachik starting in the 14th spot. Inside of that row, starting in 13th out of Mexico, rookie driver in the program here in the number 6 for Jay Howard Driver Development, it's Salvador de Alba. We'll go up to row number 6. Keep an eye on the red number 40 for Jack William Miller for Miller Vinatieri Motorsports, second year here in Indy Pro 2000. He'll be looking to move up here forward very quickly. Inside from Ireland for turn 3 Motorsports, the rookie Jonathan Brown in the number 2, starting in the 11th spot. Work our way now up into the top 10. Jordan Missig out of Illinois in the Pabst Racing number 19 will start 10th. The rookie driver on the outside of row number 5. And the inside of that row, his Pabst Racing teammate, a winner here last year at Barber Motorsports Park, Yuvan Sundaramurthy in the number 18 starting in 9th. Look for him to put the hammer down to get some spots early on in this race. We'll work our way now to row number 4, starting on the outside, the driver who was crowned champion last year in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship, winning the scholarship to be able to work his way up here into Indy Pro. He'll run the Road to Indy scholarship colors. Out of Brazil in the number 1 for D-Force Racing, it's the rookie Kiko Porto. Inside of row number 4, an all D-Force Racing row 4, starting in 7th, driver coming off a victory at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, multi-year driver here in this Road to Indy program, having run in USF 2000, but a rookie here in Indy Pro out of Palo Alto, California, Nolan Siegel in the number 8, again your most recent winner, starting in the 7th position. Up now to row number 3 on the outside, one of the other winners from the opening round of the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Starting on the outside of row number 3 from Mount Kisco, New York, it's Josh Green in the number 7 for turn 3 Motorsports, rookie driver in that number 3, starting in 6th. Road to Indy history has seen a number of drivers coming from the UK, and this is a fast one here that we'll have here throughout the seasons for Exclusive Autosport. Starting in the 5th spot inside of row number 3, starting alongside Josh Green, it's Louis Foster for Exclusive Autosport in that number 90 machine, Foster and Green on row number 3. Moving now up to row number 2, a driver we've seen win races up and down this Road to Indy, a former USF 2000 champion out of New Albany, Ohio. A winner here last year as well, Braden Eves in the number 4, starting in that 4th position, driving for Jay Howard Driver Development. In now to row number 2, the inside, and Hunkos Hollinger Racing has been unbelievably good out of the gate here at Barber Motorsports Park. Both of their drivers in the top 3, starting now on the inside of row number 2 from Pakistan in the number 47, Anam Ahmed in the 47, starting in 3rd. 15 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row, a couple of American drivers. Great return to the program here for a driver who took a little bit of time off last year in the Pabst Racing number 27, a 1:17.500 his qualifying time. Colin Kaminsky out of Homer Glen, Illinois, starting on the outside of the front row. And as they work their way to turn number 17 to see the green flag, the first of 4 here on the Road to Indy this weekend, the driver up front from Miami, Florida for Hunkos Hollinger Racing in the Ticket Clinic number 55, a 1:17.5 1:39.334. Fast time to put him on the pole. Reese Gold, the driver, starting on the pole position. Gold and Kaminsky will start on row 1. Ahmed and Eves on row 2. Foster and Green on row 3. Siegel and Porto on row 4. Sundaramurthy and Missing on row 5. Brown and Miller row 6. De Alba and Prokacek row 7. And Charles Finelli will be on row number 8. 15 drivers here in the Indy Pro 2000 category. About to go wheel-to-wheel racing for you here, folks. And again, to help me here and fire up these engines, to give the command, one of our guests from the Anderson Interior Contracting, Jade Bradshaw.
On behalf of Doster Construction, drivers, start your engines.
And with that, engines coming to life down here on pit lane. Time to go racing here at Barber Motorsports Park. Indy Pro 2000 getting set to go. Send it back up to Rick Green. I'll meet you in the booth momentarily.
All right, well, we are set to go. This promises to be a great race. What a fantastic plan. We've got a little bit of clouds, but no rain. So, Rob, thank you, and we look forward to having Rob up here. Rob, one of the true professionals that makes racing so much fun. You can always listen to him on the road to Indy, and he is phenomenal. He'll explain all that. This was a great race great group to have yesterday, and so we are very excited to once again have the Indy Pro 2000. We had them for qualifying yesterday, and good group of promising racers in the road to Indy. Well, they're out on track. This is a timed event for 25 laps, I do believe, and so we will. It's a 50 minutes. We've got a time certain. But we also have, if that's to stretch out, provided if there's any issues with the race. But a great event set to go here at Barber Motorsports Park. And don't forget, there's an autograph session over in the fan zone. Just started a few minutes ago. And it's going to be a lot of fun. You know, there's... It's a great weekend. Cooper Tires and Anderson Interior Contracting sponsoring this event. So here we go. Rob, Mac Clark up in the back. Good to see you again, Mac. Let you throw your headset on. And we will, good job, gentlemen. Let's go racing.
Indeed. Let's get things underway. Quick run up the stairs, as usual, to get things fired up here. Couple breaths. Drivers working their way around the racetrack right now. Joining me in the booth here real quickly, a quick note from Mac Clark. A couple of wins this week already in USF Juniors. How's it like to hang out on the weekend after winning some races?
It's wicked, man. Today, tomorrow, just get to chill out, kind of lay back, watch these guys in Indy Pro 2000 and see what's up.
Well, honestly, you're going to want to be here in a couple of years. That's the key right now. This is like a fact-finding mission for you, indeed, right?
Yeah, for sure. Just taking it all in, make sure I'm making notes, see what's good, see what's not, and hopefully use it in the future.
I love it. We're getting set to get things underway here, folks, with the drivers rolling their way through. They'll come out here on the front straightaway, and we are about to go racing. Field set, underway. Green, green, green. Racing in Indy Pro 2000, down into turn number 1. Can they get through one cleanly? A little bit of a mid-corner push there for Anam Ahmed. He'll slide by a little bit. That obviously gives them the opportunity for those in the back to check up just a little bit. Down through the Alabama roller coaster to turn number 4 for the first time. Big run down into turn number 5, Charlotte's Web. And a full racing line for Reese Gold. It's going to give him a little bit of a push here. Same goes for Colin Kaminsky. One driver off there a little further back. One of the turn 3 Motorsports drivers going 4 wheels off. Coming into turn number 5. They'll go 2-3 wide. Couple drivers diving down to the inside. The 7-8-9 complex now. Super tight. Got to give some room there. Couple drivers going 2 wide. Maybe a little trouble at the back there. For it might have been Jack William Miller. Otherwise, drivers settling in. We'll dial things in here. This is the first of the 2 chicanes coming down that back straightaway. Long, quick back straight. Another fast part of this racetrack here is you really got to commit. You can see the elevation changes as the cars come down through there as well. Back up through the 15, 16, 17 part of this racetrack. Climbing back up the hill, down through 16, through 17. Here's your opening lap. And we'll give you a full field rundown before we get back at it. As racing all the way through the field right now. Reese Gold across the line with the lead. 0.4 of a second the advantage over Colin Kaminsky, and Ahmed into second spot. Third, Braden Eves. Fourth, Louis Foster. Fifth, Louis Foster rather. Sixth, Josh Green. Seventh, Nolan Siegel. Eighth, Kiko Porto. Most drivers up top holding on to their positions. Good fight there coming down as well, as I'll tell you, Josh Green getting super aggressive as he's trying to find a way by Louis Foster in the Copart exclusive Autosport machine. Can't quite get it done. Tucks back under the gearbox. They work their way down the straightaway. It's Foster on the inside, Green on the outside. You'll watch them as they work their way through here. Back down through 7, 8, and 9. And it looks to me like he held off a little bit there. Opening laps, Mac, obviously the best opportunity to make an overtake, but you have to be smart as well. They always say, as you know, and I know it's a cliche, but you can't win the race on the opening lap, but you sure can lose it. Pretty solid start to the guys in Indy Pro.
Yeah, for sure, Rob. I think you definitely have to beat on the last lap to win the race. So these guys getting away pretty clean. Saw Josh Green there on the outside of T4 making a pretty aggressive move on lap 1. Didn't quite work out for him, but he's trying to work his way back up there.
So listen, your opening laps in USF Juniors on Thursday and Friday, things have played well for you. We ran the Ozarks International Raceway last weekend. Couple of wins, 2 more wins here. You really didn't have to deal with much on the opening laps. You kind of were able to get a good start, maybe a little bit of a challenge, but nobody making any dumb moves from there. You kind of were able to pull away. That's an ideal race for a young driver.
Yeah, that's for sure the goal, right? Whenever you qualify in poles, make sure you get away cleanly, try to time it right in the start zone, and make sure you're clear into turn 1. So that was a good job for me, and we managed to get away clean and have some good races.
Matt Clark, of course, the new point leader right now in USF Juniors, running for D-Force Racing. The driver out of Milton, Ontario, Canada. He'll say Toronto because it's easier to say, right? That people don't know where Milton is, but Toronto's easier to pick up. But again, a young Canadian driver who's looked very good. I did mention there was an issue for Jack William Miller, and he indeed came into pit in the Miller Vinatieri Motorsport number 40, so something wrong with that machine. Into the pits and back out onto the racetrack. I don't think he's even lost a lap, but of course did lose a ton of track time. Gold his lead now about 0.6 of a second as the drivers rocket their way up the back straightaway now. 25 lapper here for the drivers in Indy Pro 2000. Again, settling in early. The drivers just dialing things in here. The first of 2 races. They'll be back on track again, of course, on Sunday, as will the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. This event, the Anderson Interior Contracting Grand Prix. Barber Motorsports Park, the second weekend of the series. It's been a long wait. As most of you know, the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg moved from a more traditional March date back into the last weekend of February, so that kind of elongated the gap between St. Petersburg and this event here, this late April event at Barber Motorsports Park. So our drivers really haven't raced in 2 months. We did have a test session here, an official test in the middle of March here at Barber, which kind of helped these drivers get dialed in for the weekend. But they've been itching to get back behind the wheel and really get at it, go racing again. And, you know, obviously, Mac, you know what that was like. You guys waited all off season. You had to wait till last weekend at Ozarks before you had a chance to go racing. I'm sure it felt good to finally get back at it in anger.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're just itching through the entire winter season, right? Get back in the race car, get strapped back in and to go for it. So definitely felt good to get underway here in the inaugural USF Juniors event at Ozarks International.
You know, one of the cool things for you being part of D-Force Racing, obviously it's not just a single team in USF Juniors. They've got USF 2000, they've got Indy Pro, and a lot of teams do this, right? Kind of the ladder system, kind of stretch across. They're allowed to keep their drivers moving up. You obviously are looking to try to win this USF Juniors Championship, the scholarship, bringing you right into D-Force Racing. We know they can win a championship. Kiko Porter did last year. How cool is it to be here with these guys here throughout the weekend? This is your team, right? You can sit in on debriefs. I think that's got to be very valuable for a young driver.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, being integrated with such a powerful team, you know, they're in 3 rungs of the road to Indy. So for me, it's very comfortable. I get to learn from the guys in the USF 2000 series and in the Indy Pro series and see what worked for them and then hopefully apply it to myself.
Reese Gold out front, as we said, 1 second. Reese Gold looking for a big win here to throw himself into the championship chase. We have another driver into pit lane. That is De Alba. Salvador De Alba brings the Indy USA Inc. machine down to his team. Not sure what happened here. Could be a right front tire. The team going to look at the right front of Salvador De Alba. There's your lead for Reese Gold, back to Colin Kaminsky, Anam Ahmed, Braden Eves, and Louis Foster. 2 different winners to start the season in Josh Green and Nolan Siegel. Will we see our 3rd different winner here? Pretty much locked in, considering the fact that Green runs in 6th and Siegel in 8th. So any one of the top 5 would give you that new winner. But again, Reese Gold, a young pilot, we watched come into the program at just 14 years of age. In a couple of years with Cape Motorsports, running in the USF 2000 program, was able to get a victory there. And again, running here in Indy Pro 2000. His 2nd year at Indy Pro, really got a chance to get all the feel for the car, for the tracks. This race car, a lot more than USF 2000. More of everything, as I said. More downforce, horsepower, braking, grip, a little bit more of everything. And this would be big for Gold. To be able to get a victory early, I think, is crucial to any driver in a championship chase. Yeah, you can get consistent finishes and keep yourself in the fight. But, Mac, I know you'll speak to this. Being able to get a win, not only 4 in a row like you have, but to be able to get off the season off to a really good start, it just fuels that momentum, doesn't it?
I think a win is very important for a driver's confidence as well as a team too. You know, it just kind of allows you to propel yourself forward, really throw yourself in and strap into the championship fight. I mean, it's important to remember that it's a long season, but getting a win right off the bat is definitely a big help.
And I know you want to think that for sure you get into the seat, right? You got the money together, you buy your ride, you're in this program here, you're running with a team. The mindset is, yeah, that team's going to support me, they're going to trust me. But let's be real, when you're a young driver, you hop in the seat, you're like, okay, you've got a seat. Prove to us what you can do here right now. When you get that win, I want to say that there's just an increased level of trust. You know, you trust them, and they trust you so much more that you're able to deliver with what you're talking about in terms of feedback.
I think, you know, the closer you get to the front and the more you start winning, the tighter you get as a team, right? And communication as a driver to your engineer and the rest of the crew is so crucial in a competitive series like, you know, USF Juniors, USF 2000, or Indy Pro 2000.
That's exactly it, and winning races are crucial for that. And we know that Hunkos Hollinger Racing is capable. They have won multiple championships in this Indy Pro 2000 category. Of course, multiple championships in Indy Lights as well, and have developed some tremendous drivers who have gone on to the NTT IndyCar Series. Gold's lead pretty substantial now. He's pulling away. Goes purple once again. 1.34 seconds, the advantage for the young Floridian. But what a great run here for Colin Kaminsky as well. Colin started the season off last year and did a handful of races, but was not able to continue. To be able to have Colin back here full-time with Pabst Racing, he's been with that team through his USF 2000 days as well, is a great young driver, and I love seeing him find the success that he needs. A good qualifying run put him on the outside of the front row, and he has leveraged that so far. The lead for Colin Kaminsky in second over Anam Ahmed, over half a second right now. So obviously the draft's still playing a bit of a play down the back straightaway, but the interesting thing, and maybe a little less downforce than the Ligiers that we have in USF Juniors, but even with that long back straightaway, you got the draft where you pull up, but then you tuck into those chicanes where that draft takes all the aero away from the front wing, and maybe you'll have a little entry push. So I don't know, draft, push, aero wash, it's kind of up in the air, I think.
I think so, Rob. I think, you know, what's interesting, in the opening laps of this race, it looks like these drivers are able to follow a little bit more closely than I would have thought.
Yeah.
It seems like the battle for third, fourth place is really starting to heat up back there. So I think there's definitely a bit of draft, definitely a bit of aero wash, and it kind of all blends together. So see a little bit of push and shove there back for third and fourth place.
Agreed. Ahmed's been able to pull a bit of a gap here, the number 47 on that number 4 machine of Braden Eves, who runs in the 4th spot. Louis Foster runs 5th. 6th is Josh Green. Green, as we know, put a ton of pressure on Foster. They roll their way out of turn number 5. That's the Charlotte's Web corner. Turn number 5, the left-hand hairpin. Really the signature corner, Matt Clark, at this particular racetrack. Really the primary passing opportunity, downhill, hard-braking left-hander. But the key is, if somebody does get inside you, there's so much room to the outside and so much run that, and coming out of you can really hold on the outside and get a good run down. To make a pass there, you have to be decisive.
I think you really have to commit to it. Like you said, there's a lot of grip on that outside lane, so it's easy if someone doesn't fully commit to the passing your inside, you just kind of roll the outside and make sure you get that good run down on the next
run the cushion, if you will.
Exactly. Little dirt racing turn for you.
Bring some sprint car action here for you. 1.5 seconds to lead for Reese Gold. And he sees Jack William Miller up the road, but Jack William putting some pretty good lap times down, so it's not like he has to worry. He's only maybe 2 to 3 tenths of a second behind, off that of Gold right now. No big movers coming up through the order. Gold, Kaminsky, Ahmed, Eves, Foster, and Green. So we have as well I want to say 5 different teams in the top 6 in Juncos Hollinger, Pabst Racing, J. Howard Driver Development, Exclusive Autosport, and Turn 3 Motorsports. That's what we're seeing. It's really interesting to see the cross-section of all the fantastic teams we have in this program. And you have the same thing in USF Juniors. D-Force Racing, you've got a bunch of wins, so check those for them. You've been chased all 4 races long by a number of drivers from Velocity Racing Development, but we saw Andre Castro in there as well for International Motorsports. We saw Jeremy Fairburn in there as well for Crosslink Kiwi. What a bunch of great teams in USF Juniors.
I think it's a testament to the Road to Indy as a whole. You know, you see that, you know, any team that really comes into any rung of the Road to Indy is able to compete at the top, and I think that's really important.
How important is Toronto for you getting a chance to race there one time? You're obviously an Ontario kid. USF Juniors doesn't run in Toronto. We'll be there for USF 2000 and Indy Pro 2000 this year. Is that like a bucket list race? You want to roll in for that one?
Oh man, that's like such a dream of mine, right? Stand up on the car at the end of the race, hopefully with checkered flag in my hand, seeing the home crowd. That's a feeling that I hope to have one day.
I remember talking to James Hinchcliffe, who is of course one of your mentors. You worked with Speed Group. James, of course, Canadian. You worked with James quite a bit on a number of different things as your mentor. Being with him at the racetrack and just seeing how much that weekend took a toll on him when he was running an IndyCar. So many responsibilities, all the friends, family, sponsors. You know, he would kind of hide away to the RV every once in a while just to get some time of sanity. Maybe not so much at your level when you're there in USF 2000, but a race like that, there's a lot to work on, right? A lot going on at a weekend like that.
For sure, especially in front of a home crowd, right? You're being pulled a million different directions on a race weekend, so sometimes it's a little difficult to just keep your head down and focus on the job at hand.
That's it. Matt Clark with D-Force Racing and USF Juniors joining me here for the broadcast. We do say hello to all of our followers on Road to Indy TV. Thank you so much for being with us as we roll our first of 4 races out here for you on the channel. Looking forward to having USF 2000 on track a little bit later on today. As I had said, Miles Rowe, who kicked off the pre-show with me, will start on pole alongside Bajoy Garg. Rowe in the number 22 for Pabst Racing, Bajoy Garg in the number 12 for D-Force Racing. Should be some good racing coming in that category as well. Gold back down onto the front straightaway. Here's the shot again through 16 and 17. You see a couple of battles there of 3 drivers kind of lining up. Front 3 are pretty separated, but I'll tell you this, Louis Foster starting to roll in here on Braden Eves. We'll watch lap times, but last time by Foster about a 10th quicker. He's only 3 tenths back. There's the gap coming to the top of the hill here. And that's tough because Louis Foster, he wants to go attack Braden Eves, but he's got Josh Green right there, who's already been aggressive a couple of times. That's a tough thing, Mac, the mindset, right? You have to almost 100% be on attack and none on defense, because when you start balancing those two, it makes it tough to make the pass.
Yeah, that's when stuff gets tricky, and I think I was taught from a very young age, especially in karting. I mean, it's such an aggressive form of racing that if you're not going forward, usually you're going backwards. So I think as a driver, really important to keep your eyes on the guy ahead and ensure that you're focused on the attack.
You know, I would say that USF Junior is so much about driver development. We'd like to be able to have a lot of development, right? Want you to be able to battle with guys. I think you're more happy just to do what you've been doing because you really haven't learned anything, I don't want to say, over those first 4 races. You've learned your team is fast. You learned you're fast. You guys can design a car the way you want it. But, man, you went green to checker 4 straight races. do you feel like you want to be in some battles? Or are you okay just doing this all year long?
Listen, I mean, if it brings championship points and it brings that scholarship to USF 2000 next year, I'm okay with just running up at the front. But I'm sure the time will come this year where, you know, the racecraft is going to be a factor in the race.
Well, we're going to VIR next, right? Virginia International Race with some super long straightaways, a lot of drafting, as you know. 2 years in F1600 up in Canada. You know what it's like racing at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park or Mont Tremblant. These are tracks, and it will be for the USF Juniors in that Ligier when we go to VIR. There's going to be lots of drafting. It's going to be some pack racing for sure there.
Oh, for sure. It's going to look like a Talladega plate race out there. It's going to be 2-3 wide, you know, going for it. So I'm looking forward to that.
There you go. USF Juniors at VIR is equated to a Talladega plate race. I'll bring that up when we're doing the broadcast and we finally do get to the track at VIR. 14 laps still remaining, 11 down, 2.2 seconds to lead for Reese Gold, who has stretched out to a strong advantage right now. Reese, again, one of the young American drivers. I don't want to say he's flown under the radar because the interesting thing about Reese is that he came into the program at just 14 years of age. stage, and we kind of watched him, get better and better and better, and he's been able to get wins near the end of the season. Last year as a rookie, finishing 5th in the championship behind Christian Rasmussen, Braden Eves, Hunter McElroy, and Artem Petrov. Of course, 2 of those drivers graduating up into the Indy Lights program this year. Reese Gold is that sleeper driver that he learns, and the next year he comes and pounces. And I think that Juncos Hollinger Racing, with Reese alongside Anam Ahmed, who, let's be real, Anam Ahmed is a tremendous talent. We're thrilled to have him here with us. I think that pairing, again, together for a full year in the data room, in the debrief room, they are going to be strong throughout 2022.
I agree with you. I think having 2 experienced drivers underneath a team, it's, they already have lots of experience as well. And, like you said, they've won championships. So that combo, that pairing, really strong here in the Indy Pro 2000 category.
Yeah, and coming out of the gate strongly here as well at Barber Motorsports Park. One of the things about a race, launching at the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg is we don't have data right there. We don't have a chance to test there. So everybody kind of comes in on a level playing field without having any, advantage. We had the test here back in March with the big gap that we had between races. If your team got that test right, we had good weather that weekend too, or that Monday, Tuesday. You can come out here strong, and I think Juncos Hollinger showing that whatever they did at the test, they came out strongly because they've been really good already out of the gate.
I think building on what you've done in the test is also a big part of it. If you have a successful test here at Barber Motorsports Park, say in March, you can't just sit down and wait around for the race. You got to be up on it. You got to be head down with your engineer, making sure that you're ready for the racing.
Yeah, because things change, and I've talked a lot about this before. On an NTT IndyCar Series weekend, when the IndyCars are out there sporadically throughout our races, I always say that the track's kind of like a living being, right? It's always changing, always evolving, because the IndyCars have a much different angle, different line through the racetrack. They're laying all this Firestone rubber down, and our Cooper drivers have to kind of cross over some of those lines. Sometimes you'll change your line a little bit to stay in the grip of the IndyCars. So every time you roll out of the racetrack, it's a completely different scenario.
Oh, for sure. It's a different beast, right?
Yep.
You roll out there, say 9 a.m. in the morning, no Firestone rubber down. Then you roll out there 4 p.m. and the Indy cars have done 400 laps. So it's a big change for a driver.
It is, and we'll see what happens when the USF 2000 drivers come out later on today. They'll be out for their race. I want to say sometime around 3:20, I think is it. No, let me see. It's actually 3:20 green flag. We'll probably go live on Road to Indy TV a little after 3 o'clock here local time, of course Central Time here in Birmingham, Alabama, Leeds to be exact. Look at this fight coming down the back straightaway. We're watching that scrap. It's not done yet between Louis Foster and Braden Eves. Watch your leaders coming out here on the front straightaway momentarily. There's Jack William Miller getting a lap down, having pit early. There's Reese Gold, nice little gap there. Second, third, fourth, fifth, pretty gapped up here right now, to be honest. Not seeing a whole lot of battling here. Again, one of the issues about this racetrack. There's a good battle a little bit further back, a lot tighter there for sure. Kiko Porto battling it out with Yuvan Sundaramurthy and Jordan Missig. I think Jonathan Brown for Turn 3 Motorsports in there as well. Back up to the hill here. In fact, that's Sundaramurthy, Missig, and Brown we were watching there, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Here's your leaders coming back down through turn number 5. 2.8 seconds the advantage for Reese Gold over Colin Kaminsky. To start a weekend off like this, I always think about the fact, you come into a weekend, it's almost like you want to get, in qualifying, right? You want to get that banker lap. You want to go out, knock out a banker lap, really good one, because you never know what happened in USF 2000 could happen with red flags coming out. You don't get the big lap you wanted. Get that banker lap in. I kind of look at that for the front end of a doubleheader, right? You come into the weekend, get a good result in the opening round, right? Changes your mindset. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, anything top 5, you're happy. It's that DNF in the opening round of a weekend that kind of changes your mindset, puts you kind of on the back foot. You might even get desperate for an event or for a result in race number 2, right?
I agree with you, Rob. I was talking to my team owner, David Martinez, earlier in the weekend, and, we were talking about strategy, maybe for tires in race 1 of the USF Juniors. And he said, listen, Mac, if you have the opportunity to take a race and, grab it and win, do it, because that's going to give you momentum for the second race, the third race, and really going to help you out.
Yeah, it just fuels everything. I think I say the words confidence and momentum so many times for young drivers because I think even at this level, the momentum and the confidence is so crucial for a driver to believe in their skills, believe in what they're able to do. It's the same thing, I think, when it comes to IndyCar. These drivers battle with confidence and whatever may happen for their own careers. But when you're young and coming up, to be able to have that confidence in yourself, I think it just pays off. It just puts you in a different mindset for every race.
100%. I think that's like that in any sport. You know, you really have to believe in yourself and believe, especially in the team behind you, you know, that you can take poles, wins, and really fight for the championship ahead.
Gold's lead, 2.8 seconds. 10 laps down, rather 10 laps to go, 15 laps down already. In our Anderson Interior Contracting Grand Prix, opening of 2 races here for the Indy Pro 2000. 3rd race on this year's calendar. The first event's won by, as I said before, Nolan Siegel and Josh Green. Couple drivers, one from D-Force Racing, one from Turn 3 Motorsports. Will it be our 3rd straight winner? Looks that way right now, as no one seems to have anything for Reese Gold, the young driver from Miami, Florida. 4th year on the road to Indy, 2 years in USF 2000, his 3rd year, his 2nd year now in Indy Pro. And the other thing about this is, and obviously nobody in the USF Juniors wants to hear this right now because I've got the kid sitting beside me right now, but a lot of the times when you get that first win of the season or that first win in the series, the floodgates kind of open, right? You were able to win it at Ozarks, gives you the confidence coming here this week, just, you know, go after this. The next race is a couple weeks' time at the Grand Prix of Indianapolis, you know, on the road course at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And you go back just a couple of years ago when Stingray Rob came in there, swept the season on that Labor Day weekend when we had the COVID year in 2020, swept the weekend. That changed everything in the championship. He ended up rolling through, getting the scholarship and moving to Indy Lights. So there's races that line up pretty well right now for Juncos Racing, and both Reese Gold and Anam Ahmed. They run 1st and 3rd respectively, separated of course by Colin Kaminsky from Pabst Racing, who runs strongly here in the 2nd spot. Gold, look at that lead right now, coming down through the Alabama roller coaster, starting to stack up behind them a little bit as, talk about Nolan Siegel coming back into the fight. He was quite a ways back at one point. He's trying to get himself back in there. He's putting his head down. He was at least 2 or 3 tenths quicker than both Foster, Green, and Eves last time by. So we may see another driver coming deeper from the field, but right behind Braden Eves, it's the kind of white colored cars of Josh Green, the white and blue, and then of course the white and red of Louis Foster for Exclusive Autosport. This thing's starting to stack up a little bit, but again, the more downforce you pour onto these cars, the more that word aero wash kind of comes back in again. That's probably what these drivers are dealing with a little bit. Some of the longer duration, high commitment corners here, you get in behind someone, lose that air off the front wing, and that car just add more and more wheel, and it doesn't want to turn.
You can see that queue starting to form right around
Yeah,
P3, P4 there, and Josh Green a few laps ago, didn't see where it happened, but it seems like he got around Louis Foster.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
And that must have been just on the last lap. That was indeed just on the last lap. So moved Josh Green up to P5. Not only is he a good driver analyst, but a spotter as well for Matt Clark. Going to be in the booth. Again, those of you maybe tuned in late, Matt Clark, the point leader right now in the new USF Juniors program, running for D-Force Racing. 4 straight wins to start the season. Swept Ozarks and swept the races here on Thursday and Friday, and will take that point lead to the event at VIR in June. But the racing not done here for the drivers in Indy Pro, just 2 steps away from the NTT IndyCar Series. All these drivers racing for that scholarship to make the move up into Indy Lights. 7 laps remaining. Let's see if Foster dials things back up here. Again, Josh Green getting by, as Mac had said. Here's that long run down once again out of the turn 7-8 complex. Leaders sliding by. Everybody else stacking up behind Colin Kaminsky. There's Kaminsky. There's Ahmed, Eves, Green, Foster. Nolan Siegel sliding through, followed by Kiko Porto in the Road to Indy Scholarship colors. It's not that Kaminsky's fallen that far off. His last lap time was just 0.3 of a second off of Reese Gold. It's just, you know, even if they're a tenth or 2 faster, just not much you can do when you have that aero wash. You've got to be able to make a move. You've got to be close enough. It's about getting out of the Alabama roller coaster, right? 2, 3, 4, if you have any shot at diving down the inside of turn number 5.
No, I agree with you. I think Turn 5 is kind of like the premium passing spot here at Barber Motorsports Park. Beautiful facility, but a little bit difficult to overtake for these Indy Pro 2000 drivers here.
Yeah, for those who don't know, this track was actually designed for motorcycle racing, actually not even designed for car racing, but it has become such a huge part of both the NTT IndyCar Series and this Road to Indy.
That looks like a move there for P6.
Foster's gone back by, folks. Coming out of the corner, you saw it. Foster has gone back by. Louis Foster back into the 5th position there with a move down into turn number 5. So Foster aggressive in the exclusive Autosport machine. He goes by Josh Green. That's where the racing has been, and there you go, kind of displaying, exemplifying what we talked about. You have to get through 2, 3, 4 cleanly, and then be able to get that big run up the straightaway where you can use the draft, then dive to the back to the inside, get that air flowing back over the wing. And you said it, Mac, that pass into turn number 5 has to be decisive. You almost got to get down on the side and kind of let the car go a little farther. Let's not roll it into the apex. You almost want to kind of dive by the turning point a little bit, state your point, right? Kind of take the corner a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to give that guy on your outside any extra real estate to take you back, right?
Yeah, you are not going around the outside of me here right now. In fact, you're going to wait a little while before you start your turn in. That's key. And again, Louis Foster able to get back by.
See Nolan Siegel there, like you said a few laps ago. He's putting in some good lap times. He's closing up to the back of that train, so that'll be interesting to see if he gets there.
I'd said that, right? Just a little quicker kind of a thing. We'll see what happens when they come back around here. Watching the leaders again, back down into turn number 5. You can see them coming through here now. No real gap, but Siegel still pushing. He'd love to see these guys fighting back. Foster and Green maybe going back and forth again, because Siegel has definitely closed up. Remember, it was, what did I say, about 3 seconds at one point? How about just over a second? Siegel back to Josh Green. And in fact, last time by, a 1:18.9. Fastest driver on the racetrack last lap was indeed Nolan Siegel, the 1:18.945, a half a second faster than the leader. Siegel coming on strong here with 5 to go.
Must be those D-Force racing colors.
No, I was just gonna say, wait till you pull that D-Force card out. Your teammate coming up, but indeed, don't leave your seats yet, folks, for this one, because I have a feeling that Nolan Siegel, who, as we know, was able to get a victory at St. Petersburg, comes in here as the point leader, 2 markers ahead of Louis Foster and 8 ahead of Josh Green. So look who are just in front of him right now, those 2 drivers. So if you're thinking about championship, I think he'd be more than happy to slide by both of these drivers and hold that championship lead, because as we know, Reese Gold looking to lock big points, although he did not have the best of weekends at St. Petersburg. He's mired back in 9th place right now, 25 points, 25 back from Siegel. This will be huge, though, for Gold to thrust him back into it. Look at this side-by-side action further back as well. Hold on. Ooh. That is Foster going after Braden Eves. Louis Foster getting by Josh Green and is immediately launched out of a cannon. He's going after Braden Eves right now. Let's keep an eye on this with 4 to go. We're going to have ourselves a couple of battles. Foster trying to fight on Eves. Siegel has most definitely closed up to the tail of Josh Green. So we got ourselves a couple of battles here over the last handful of laps in Indy Pro 2000. Gold, Kaminsky, Ahmed, Eves, Foster, top 5, Green 6th, Siegel 7th, Porto 8th, Missing in 9th, Jonathan Brown rounding out your top 10, this time through as well, side by side coming down through turn number 13, 14, and indeed through 15. He's through, and he has brought Josh Green with him. Foster goes to the spot, Green can't complete the pass. Foster is through to go to P4. Here comes Green to the bottom of the racetrack. Eves starting to wiggle his way over. Siegel trying the outside, coming through turn number 1. Oh, Braden Eves, full defense mode. Elbows up here with 3 to go. Look at this, Mac.
You can see, as we said before, if you're not going forward, you might start to go backwards, and Braden Eves here kind of on the defense. You can see Josh Green, Nolan Siegel really starting to attack him, so let's keep an eye on that for the last few laps.
Yeah, big run around the outside now for Josh Green, trying to get a better run out of 5 coming down in. And Mac had said it before, every one of these drivers in karting, they'll get drilled. If you get to someone, you're passing. If you're not passing, you're going backwards. And look at this, hold on, coming down into turn number 7, 8, 9, that combo coming down through there. A tough part of this racetrack. To pass, you have to be so decisive. This is really starting to heat up. One thing that's allowed is Louis Foster's been able to pull away. He's been able to check out because they're battling, so he kind of confirmed himself down there, P4. Foster, I believe, as they run on the racetrack, would be the new point leader as they run on track.
And what a good job by Foster, man. He really just, kept it in there. Green and him had a long battle going back and forth, and he finally got around him again, then made that move on Braden Eves. Way to hold in there for Louis Foster.
Yeah, I like the fact that he didn't quit, right? Especially you could have settled back in. Man, I just don't have the car right now. No, Foster up on the wheel. Again, a driver we have coming over from England here, a strong resume. Awesome to have Louis here, actually going to school now over in LA. Loyola Marymount. Good to have him here with us for the season, though. This is a great battle right now. It's 2 laps remaining. Kaminsky has second, Ahmed third, Foster fourth, but we are not done yet for 5th, 6th, 7th. Hey, count 8th as well, because here comes that Road to Indy scholarship car. Last year's champion in the USF 2000, Kiko Porto, right in the fight here.
And look at Foster, green on the last time by, so he's still got some pace left in that number 90 EA machine.
Indeed, he was 4/10 quicker than Anam Ahmed, 1.1 back with 2 laps to go. Could he actually catch Ahmed and potentially throw a haymaker in there, try to send it in for P3? We'll see. Max smiling, he's like, I'd do it. I'd do it. Let's see what happens further back as Kiko Porto and Nolan Siegel, the 2 D-Force Racing teammates, racing side by side now. You don't want to take each other out here in the final circuit. As it looks to me like Eves may have given himself some breathing room. Indeed, he has. Green put the pressure on there momentarily. Not quite able to keep that put pressure on. White flag flying this time by. 1 lap to go for Reese Gold to get his first Indy Pro 2000 win of the year. Gold, 2.39 miles away from coming home with the victory. As we said, Reese finished 4th in the championship last year, scored a victory at New Jersey Motorsports Park. This would be his 2nd Indy Pro 2000 win. I like this for Colin Kaminsky as well, a guy that's kind of battling a little bit. He really kind of ran, good friends with Hunter McRae, but kind of always in the shadow of Hunter, right? Hunter was always a little quicker than Colin. Colin did get some very fast times. This is his time to shine alongside his teammates Yuvan Sunder, Amurthy, and Jordan Missig. Kaminsky running P2. They'll work their way down again through to turn number 15 and 16. Very fast part of this track, the back part of the racetrack here. High commitment. Gold now working his way through. This has been a great run for Reese Gold.
You can see Reese Gold there on the last lap, just leaving a little bit of extra room there through the high-speed corners, making sure that he keeps on the track.
And here he is, folks, out of the final corner, making his 2nd career win in the Indy Pro 2000 category. First of 2020, the winner of our opening round in Indy Pro 2000. Reese Gold for Hunko's Hollinger Racing, getting the victory, the margin over Colin Kaminsky, who was able to bring it home here, I believe, in P2. 1st and 2nd separated by 4.8 seconds. What a great run there for Reese Gold. Kaminsky coming home in 2nd spot. Solid for Colin Kaminsky. Anam Ahmed ends up P3. Louis Foster getting by late in the race, sliding by Braden. He goes to 4th. He goes to 4th. And indeed, 68 points for Louis Foster. This is, of course, unofficial. That would put him 4 points ahead of Nolan Siegel. So Louis Foster taking the point lead with a 4th place finish. Braden Eves in 5th, Josh Green 6th, Nolan Siegel in the 7th spot, Kiko Porto in 8th, Jordan Missig 9th, and Jonathan Brown rounding out the top 10. Drivers, of course, on the cool-down lap. You know what these kind of cool-down laps are like, Mac. You won 4 races this year at USF Juniors. How does it feel cruising around? Arms will be getting a bit heavy after a long race, but you had that excitement from the victory.
Oh, for sure. And I think for me, at least, cross the start-finish line, and first things, thank you to the team.
Yeah.
Big thank you to the team. And it just feels like this big weight off your shoulders once you cross the checkered flag and kind of relax,
Seeing them over top of the fence.
It's such an amazing feeling, right? You can unwind, wave a little bit to the fans, maybe on the end lap.
That's it. Hey, listen, thank you so much for joining us here in the booth. We appreciate joining us here on Road Indy TV. If people want to follow Matt Clark, obviously you're a young gun coming up through USF Juniors. How do they follow you? Give a shout out to your sponsors as well.
Well, I think all of us young drivers are pretty big on social media. So I got Instagram going, _Matt Clark. I got a Facebook page, YouTube channel, a little live streaming on Twitch, some iRacing in there. So big shout out to all my 2022 partners. Got MIR Race on USA on board. They're on all my equipment from neck down, Bell helmets, as well as Second Skin back home. So yeah, I mean, those are my 22 partners, and they're really helping me out this year. So big thank you to them.
That's awesome, man. Matt Clark, folks, make sure you follow him on social media. Great job here in the booth with me today. Was alongside with us yesterday as well. Again, those are your results, and there is your winner right now. Reese Gold, our third different winner of the season here in the Indy Pro 2000 category. Juncos Hollinger Racing in gold. I would say the diminutive Reese Gold, but the kid has sprouted up a number of inches since he first came in here as a 14-year-old. He is pumped, and there is the excitement of winning here on the road to Indy and understanding you are back in the championship fight. Reese Gold out of the car will get congratulated by the team. We'll head down to Tatis Victory Lane pretty soon here, folks. Stay with us. More to come live here on Road to Indy TV.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Sure, once in a blue moon, you might need your tires for hauling a horse in a hailstorm. But most days, you're gonna need your tires for tougher things, like teaching your sister's kid how to parallel park. Thankfully, these Cooper and Duramaxes aren't just tough, they're everyday tough. Okay, there's a lot of improvement. Go with the Coopers. Cooper.
Karting and motorsport enthusiasts, Lucas Oil School of Racing is America's #1 Formula Car race school. Enjoy modern paddle shifters, pit speed limiter, and onboard video along with integrated data systems. Get started today with our 2-day basic or advanced course. Lucas Oil School of Racing is the official school of the Road to Indy. We can also qualify you for your SCCA license. Get started today by visiting us at www.lucasraceschool.com.
It's your Uncle Cooper. Your SUV is a multi-purpose tool, like a corkscrew fish scaler. And that means your tires should be multi-purpose too. Like these Cooper rugged Treks. They're tough, but also run smooth as butter. And with dual sidewalls, it's like having a multi-tool that can look like a completely different multi-tool. Don't take that idea, by the way. I'm gonna patent it. Go with the Coopers. Cooper.
With over 40 years in business, High Tide Boat Lifts is committed to elevating your craft. Whether you own a personal watercraft or a large yacht, we can design and create the perfect lift for your needs. At High Tide Boat Lifts, we understand that you've worked hard to get to a successful place in life. We'll ensure you have a hassle-free experience, maximizing the time you spend on your boat with family and friends, and supporting your dreams out on the open water.
To me as we go, as we roll.
Attracting Grand Prix. Indy Pro 2000 drivers getting the weekend off to a pretty solid start with some good racing. Of course, the Juncos Hollinger Racing drivers finding their way to the podium. Let's get started and bring those top 3 drivers out. Finishing in 3rd spot today from Juncos Hollinger, Anam Ahmed. 3rd spot for Anam. And to present him with his award, one of our guests from Anderson Interior Contracting, Scott Walters, will bring the number 3 in. Oh, I got the wrong one. My apologies. Charles Bradshaw helping us out with that one. Charles, you want to hop up there? There you go. Indy Lights engines firing behind us. They're going to head out here right now. And Ahmed, third spot. Great job. Coming home in second spot, they started on the outside of the front row and got the job done, put down great laps, finishing in second for Pabst Racing, Colin Kaminsky. And to present him with his trophy for second spot, Michael Majares, again, one of our guests here for Anderson Interior Contracting. Michael, hop right up in there with Colin. Colin having a great run here to start off what could be a solid weekend for him. One more spot on the podium. 3 different winners to start the season this year. He scored a win last year at New Jersey Motorsports Park, but he'll add a victory today here at Barber Motorsports Park for Juncos Hollinger Racing. How about a round of applause for my winner here today, Reese Gold? You stay down here with me first, Reese. Hey, starting on pole position, Barber, we know you got to get through turn 1 cleanly, right? You probably held your breath a little bit there, but you were clean down to 5. How important for you is it to win here, your first win of the season and first win of the weekend?
Yeah, super happy. You know, great to get that first win out of the way. We needed the points because St. Pete wasn't the best, so glad to be back in the points and back in the fight.
Can you make that car any better? Over all those 25 laps, you're obviously feeling how it was. Can you get it better for tomorrow?
I don't know. It's pretty damn good, so we'll see. You know, I'll nitpick my engineer a little bit, but it was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it.
And who do you want to thank today for the win?
I'd like to thank everyone at Juncos. They did a great job. My parents, my mom, my dad, my coach Oz, and all the fans out here, and everyone at Juncos.
Congratulations, buddy. Get on top here. Reese Gold, folks, the winner today. Now we'll bring Scott Walters in. He'll bring in the winner's trophy. Another one for Reese Gold, his second in Indy Pro 2000 competition. Hop right up there, Scott, with him. Awesome job. So again, Reese Gold scoring the victory here today. Green to checker, able to get out front, and all the drivers doing a tremendous job to keep this thing green to checker all the way through. But again, a couple of Juncos Hollinger Racing's drivers here on the podium. They had a strong test back here in March, and obviously came out of the gate here with a really good platform for both of those drivers. As Reese said, he can sit down with his engineer and nitpick a little bit, but they've got themselves a very, very good race car. I mentioned throughout the broadcast, though, that this track does change throughout the weekend with the IndyCar putting so much rubber down. Same goes with the drivers in Indy Lights. They're going to put a lot of rubber down, so the grip is going to increase throughout the weekend here. And that's one of the things that the engineers will have to, of course, take into consideration when they're deciding on what they want to do chassis-wise, setup-wise. Do you make any changes for race number 2 tomorrow? Reese Gold, though, with the win, you could tell how important it was to him. He did not have the St. Petersburg event back in February that he wanted. 9th place in points coming in. This will be a huge help, moving him very closely back up into the top 5 as well. As I had mentioned, Louis Foster, I believe, unofficially taking the point lead with that 4th place finish. But this is your podium right here. Reese Gold, Colin Kaminsky, and Anam Ahmed. Do we have our kids on track, guys, as well to come in here? I think we'll bring them in as well, right? 1 minute, 1 minute. A lot of guests are involved in the program here. Great to have everyone from Anderson Interior Contracting here as part of our event here at Barber Motorsports Park. Chance to get people to come out here and enjoy racing, get a chance to see them to meet the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. And all the time when we're talking about this Indy Pro 2000 program, you think about the drivers who have come through this level that you're going to be watching in IndyCar here this weekend. Pato O'Ward, Renus VK. You look at the drivers who have worked their way up through the ranks and have all run at this level of competition. First of 4 races in the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires are USF Juniors drivers racing on Thursday and Friday, the development program for the Road to Indy. This is the first one. Of course, later on today, we'll have our drivers in the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship on track for their first race of the doubleheader. One of the things we do throughout the season is have a Kids on Track program brought to you by High Tide Boat Lift. So bring a lot of local kids in to come and enjoy a weekend at the racetrack and get a chance to see what it's like to be here trackside. Get a little photo here in Victory Lane before we pass over the champagne. I don't know that any of these drivers are going to, I don't know how many are old enough to drink champagne. Well, I think Colin and Anam, I think, are both old enough. Reese, definitely not, right? No, Reese gets apple juice. That's true. You won't see them drinking the champagne right now. They've got qualifying first thing tomorrow. These guys are athletes, and they're going to want to make sure they stay in 100% form. Different tomorrow afternoon. If they're, of course, on the podium, the champagne will fly. Not all of it's going to hit the ground, I guarantee. Some of it's going in the stomach. So very possible to see these three drivers back here again tomorrow because the speed they showed here today and through qualifying, there's a good opportunity. We may see these guys here once again and to change kind of the complexion of the championship. Big thank you to our Kids on Track folks for being part of us here, part of the family here this weekend. Hope you guys enjoy it. All right, time to bring out some champagne, do a little spray here to cap off this presentation. Again, USF 2000 drivers will be up here in a couple hours as well. Hope you guys are enjoying your day here at Barber Motorsports Park. Dropping the champagne and bailing. 2 champagnes, 1 sparkling apple cider for young Reese Gold. Boys, let her rip. Time to celebrate the success of the day. Indy Pro 2000. One more time, folks. A round of applause if you're around here by trackside. Let these guys hear it. Big victory for Reese Gold today, getting himself back in the championship fight. They'll do it all again tomorrow afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here at Victory Lane, folks. USF 2000 back on track a little later on today.